What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and as all of you all probably already know, unfortunately yesterday there was another mass shooting in America, this time at a 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois. Now, as soon as this news broke, before the paramedics could even pick up the bodies off of the ground, of course the usual debates were already sparking online. Debates over gun control, Democrats trying to claim the suspect was a Republican, Republicans trying to claim that the suspect was a Democrat. However, I spoke to a friend of the suspect, and he claims that the suspect was neither. And I will bring you all that conversation in its entirety in just a moment. However, first, I would like to present you all with some of my findings because this was really interesting and bizarre for me. Now, as I was saying, the right was trying to claim that the suspect was a leftist, although the suspect left behind some evidence that would make you believe that he's not a leftist at all. And the left was trying to claim that the suspect was far right, or what's the word that they're using for conservatives these days? Super MAGA, or no, ultra MAGA. Yeah. The left was trying to claim this dude was ultra MAGA. Now, I know looks can be deceiving, but using our observational skills, we're all adults here. We all see people on a daily basis. We see people who belong to certain groups and we know kind of how they look. In my honest opinion, this guy doesn't look like a traditional, MAGA conservative. In fact, he looks like the exact opposite. Honestly, you trying to convince someone that this dude is ultra MAGA is like me trying to convince someone that this dude voted for Joe Biden and has no problem following mask guidelines at the supermarket. It just wasn't adding up. And of course, this mass shooting took place at a 4th of July parade, and most of the people in the crowd, I would assume, were conservative. But, who knows? I think, honestly, it shouldn't really matter. When it comes to this, the first thing we should be worried about is the people who are affected before we worry about making this situation political. However, I believe, in some weird way, that's what Robert Crimo wanted. Robert Crimo wanted a political debate behind what he did, because Robert Crimo left behind a tangled web of evidence and rabbit holes and just of the likes I've never seen before. I've looked into a ton of these type of situations, and I have never seen anything like what I saw when I was going down this rabbit hole that Robert Crimo purposely left behind for all of us to travel down. You see, when you take all of the evidence and the videos and the social media posts that Robert Crimo left behind, and you place them together, it's almost as if it's just one big meta conversation about mass shootings. He literally left behind breadcrumbs that could make you travel down multiple different trails that would make you come up with different conclusions as to what his motive might be. For instance, there's pictures of him at Trump rallies. However, when you look at his social media posts and the things he likes on social media, like you're watching right now to the side of me, everything, and I mean everything that he liked on social media was all anti-Trump stuff. It was all about, condemning people for January 6th, all about getting Trump out of the White House, impeaching Donald Trump. So both of these things were just contradicting each other. Now, the pictures that he has at these MAGA rallies, he's in a Where's Waldo costume. And I don't know if he's trying to troll, if he's there to make a mockery out of these rallies, or if he's there dressed up as Where's Waldo purposely to stick out like a sore thumb in the crowd. So after he did what he did, people could go back and find these photos. Because I've never seen someone dressed like this in any of the videos that I've seen of MAGA rallies. It's just kind of odd. Almost like he was purposely trying to stick out. Now, why would he want to do that? Well, maybe because he was planning this attack for a while. This wasn't something that Robert came up with overnight. In fact, months and months ago, Robert uploaded a video of him just driving slowly down the same trail as the parade route. He also had depictions on his social media accounts of violent attacks on law enforcement and at schools. You see, early on, when this situation happened, I was able to identify the suspect as Robert Crimo, a rapper by the name of Awake the Rapper. I was able to identify him along with other people online well before the mainstream media reported his name. Therefore, me and I assume hundreds of others were able to look through his social media accounts before they got taken down. Now, over on my other channel, I do have a video that will show you some of the videos that he had, although a lot of the stuff that I posted was on my Twitter account. You can go follow me over there, but Twitter has now tried to delete a lot of the evidence that I posted. Now, Robert, at least in my opinion, he's smarter than a lot of people will give him credit for. You know, these mass shooters are all insane. They're all stupid in some way because what they did was stupid. But Robert, he had an awareness of the conversations, debates, conspiracies that all come out during these mass shootings. Robert purposely left behind little breadcrumbs, little references to random conspiracies and things of that nature. You see, Robert would often be seen in an FBI hat. He made sure that on every social media profile he had, and he had a good bit, that there was always pictures of him in this FBI hat. He even had music referencing MK Ultra. You see, a lot of people, or some people, believe that the FBI is directly, and I'm not saying this is true or it's not true. Let me make that clear. But this is some of the conversations that go on every time one of these mass shootings happen. A lot of people think that the FBI is involved. It's a fact that often the FBI is aware that people who carry out these attacks are a problem. They're aware that they're going through mental health issues. They're aware that they're a threat. Some people believe that they almost honeypot them into doing these things, that they almost coerce them and lead them into carrying out these events. Robert knew that that was a theory or a conspiracy or something that would always float around during one of these attacks. Therefore, Robert went out of his way to always post pictures in an FBI hat. In one of Robert's music videos, he says that he's a sleepwalker and that he's waiting to be awakened for his real destiny. Now, those of us who have researched MK Ultra, we know what sleepwalkers are. And once again, I'm not saying this is true or not true, but Robert was very aware that after these mass shooting events, there's always a theory going on that maybe the suspect is a victim of MK Ultra. Someone that the CIA or the government brainwashed, and they're like a sleeper agent living their life until the snap of a finger, an order is given, and then they go out and carry out one of these heinous acts. Robert was aware that that was a theory that would swirl around during these events, so Robert made music referencing that and made sure to leave it behind for everyone to listen to. So that's why I say this is a really tangled web. It's almost as if you take all of this stuff together, if you take everything he left behind, you would realize, when you place it like all in front of your face, you would realize that it was all this big, like nothing but just like, it was like this big meta conversation about these events. It was nothing but references to the different debates and arguments and stuff that would spark online. Now, when you go to his social media account, you would realize that if he wasn't liking stuff about hating Donald Trump and about, not liking Republicans, then he would often like posts about gun control. He liked a lot of posts about how police didn't respond the right way to these type of events. And it's weird when you're like, okay, here's a dude that's about to go out, legally obtain a weapon and kill a bunch of people. Yet when you go on his social media profile, he's liking all of this stuff about gun control and about how he's against guns. So I believe that Robert wanted this to be a debate. Robert wanted there to be this fight as to what political party Robert leans with. What political party does Robert identify with? What is Robert's motive here? That's what Robert wanted. Therefore, Robert left behind all of these breadcrumbs that could lead you down various different routes. And we now know, as of today, the news came out that Robert was actually dressed as a woman when all of this went down. In my honest opinion, Robert wanted us to be confused. Robert wanted all of us to argue over his motives. I mean, I've never seen a cross-dressing, blue-haired, face-tattooed, SoundCloud rapping Trump supporter. It's almost a walking, talking contradiction. And the fact that he carried out this attack at a 4th of July parade, and most of the people who were attacked, I would assume, were, probably conservative. It's the 4th of July parade. I think it's safe to assume that, at least in today's day and age. So it didn't add up. The attack that he carried out didn't add up with the fact that he was always seen at these Trump parades and these Trump rallies. One could say that maybe the fact that he was there and wears Waldo costumes, that maybe he was mocking them, maybe he was trolling. I'm not sure. But there's no denying the fact that he would be at these rallies. So why he was there, maybe we'll never know. Maybe he just wanted a photo op. What I do know is that on one of his YouTube accounts, he had two, he posted this video of him recording Trump's motorcade. He was standing outside in a tuxedo, which is odd because you never see this guy in a tuxedo or dressed up like that or anything at all. But there was this video of him standing outside recording Trump's motorcade pass by. And in the very next video he posted, he's sitting on his bed, a mattress on the floor. And if you look in the background, there's a newspaper clipping posted behind him. In that newspaper clipping is something about Lee Harvey Oswald and JFK's assassination. Was this dude planning on assassinating Donald Trump? Maybe. I don't know. Was this dude planning a school type event? I believe that's possible as well. There were several music videos that he posted of himself inside of a classroom, one of which depicted what looked to be like one of those type of events. So there was just so much stuff left behind that would just make you wonder. And according to what political party you belong to, there was enough evidence left behind that could make you believe that your side was in the right. So if you come in and you have some bias and you really want this guy to be this MAGA loving type of guy, there's enough evidence there to make you think that. But if you come in and you want this guy to be this crazy, gender-confused leftist, there's enough evidence there to make you think that. Robert went out of his way to leave evidence on both sides. So this could be the conversation of all conversations. You understand what I'm trying to say here? Like, this could be the Super Bowl of conversations behind mass shooting events. He placed all of the proper seeds there that all will eventually grow. There's stuff that we're still finding out. I mean, it was really weird. On one of his social media profiles, it would be all about hating Trump, all about gun control, all about police reform. And then on another one of his social media profiles, he's blasting commies and stuff like that. It was just, everything was directly contradicting each other. You understand what I'm saying? So there was enough left behind to make you believe either or. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I did dig up. I'm not so sure if I'm going to be able to post it here on YouTube. I was having trouble posting this video on my channel last night. That's why I had to go to my separate channel and post the video. But there's a lot of stuff that's still coming out about this guy. There's a lot of weird stuff out there that I'm still trying to figure out as well. So as far as pinpointing a motive or who or what party this guy belongs to, it's almost impossible because he made it that way. Like I said, according to what you want to believe, that he left behind enough evidence out there that would lead you to believe that. You know what I'm saying? So when I see people online, they're like, no, he's this. And then the other person's like, no, he's that. It's like, well, neither one of y'all are wrong because he purposely left behind stuff that would make you believe either or. I mean, the guy would wear shirts mocking QAnon and different stuff like that. But you know what? I mean, like I said, he left behind a tangled web. And I just wish that all of you all could have seen it before it was deleted. You know, they scrubbed these social media accounts real quick. If you all were following me on Twitter, then chances are you got to see it. Because I was posting a lot of live updates as I was obtaining information. So all of you all should be following me on Twitter. There's no reason why I have 55,000 subscribers on YouTube and only 800 followers on Twitter. So go subscribe, you're missing out. But it was clear to me after sitting back and looking at everything that this was what he wanted. He wanted to spark the ultimate debate, the debate of all debates behind mass shootings. And maybe, just maybe, he was successful in doing so. Because people are still debating right now. And even me, I'm debating in myself. Which side does this guy belong to? What is the true motive? You know, and the fact that he chose the 4th of July parade to do this would make you think one thing, but then again, you look at his post and that would make you think another. It's all really, really weird. And the fact that he was referring to himself as like a sleepwalker, as if he was MK Ultra and he was placed here by the FBI. It's really weird, guys. It's really weird. Some stuff that I'm not even going to talk about here on this platform. But I mentioned that I got to have a conversation with someone that knew Robert personally. One of Robert's buddies, are someone who used to be Robert's friend but hasn't talked to him in a little while. Now, I was able to confirm that this guy actually knew Robert because this guy sent me pictures of himself with Robert. Sent me pictures of conversations that he had with Robert that are private, so I will not share those here on this video. However, I will share the conversation that I had with him. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into it. Hi. I don't want to name this guy. I'm not sure if this guy wants his name out there. So this is Robert's friend. Hi. I knew Awake the rapper, Robert Bobby Crimo. We used to make music together around 2015 through 18. He's not Antifa. Hold on, right, that's one thing. That's another thing that I forgot to mention. He would have pictures of himself at Trump rallies, like I already said, but he also had pictures dressed up in black bloc Antifa, like the one you see right here. So that's why I would have to have his social media accounts right in front of me to pinpoint everything that I'm trying to get across to you all. I was able to grab some screenshots and stuff like that, but there was just so much out there. You would really have to see it for yourself to fully grasp like what I'm saying here. And if you did, I think it would blow your mind, because I feel like there was a lot of thought put behind this. Now, his friend doesn't think there was any thought put behind this at all, just to be clear. But in my opinion, after going through everything that I went through and looking through everything that I looked through yesterday, man. But all right, back to what his friend had to say. I knew Awake the rapper, Robert Bobby Crimo. We used to make music together around 2015 through 18. He's not Antifa. He's not some MAGA overlord. I know that shit sounds really interesting, but it's not the truth. He was an isolated stoner who completely lost touch with reality. He co-opted aesthetics from the left and right, but I don't think he was either one of those things. I think he was just lost. Gravitated towards aesthetics he found interesting. Maybe things can change in a couple of years, but he was never a white nationalist, and he was never a leftist. Things can change in a couple of years for sure. Not to excuse him or anything, what he did was awful, and I hope he rots. But to say he was an Antifa shooter, or a QAnon supporter, or whatever, it's BS, total BS. He was not MK Ultra. He liked ARGs and thought it was cool. I know leftist Twitter and Trump stan Twitter want to make him into whatever type of person that they want, to vilify him, but he isn't that. Anybody that knew Robert could attest to that. In his last years, he was making some weird-ass videos. But no sane person does what he does. There's nothing deeper to it. Just crazy being crazy. If I could say one thing, it would be this. Do not spend your time focusing on his motives or his backstory. This isn't a TV show. There isn't some grand conspiracy here. Maybe elsewhere, but not here. Please check in with your friends. Please show the victims some support. In which I asked him, what do you think caused him to do this? Did you not ever notice weird signs in his behavior? In which he replied, that's the thing. I've talked with so many friends who were also friends with him. We don't know why he did what he did. It defies logic. He was never a gun nut, never overly political, never really screamed incel to me. He was definitely isolated. Pretty much the only people he really talked to were online. But as many other people knew him said, we did not know why this happened. We do not know why this happened. He was never prone to violence, never the violent type. His attitude towards women was always respectful. I think, honestly, he just got stuck and lost in his own delusions. Hopefully, the interrogation will be released publicly so folks can get some closure. Knowing why does not make it okay, but it can at least ease some of the burning whys and questions that people have. In which I replied, when I look at some of his past videos, it seems as if he was leaving breadcrumbs. A lot of references to other mass shootings. He liked a lot of posts about gun control and left behind evidence that could link him to either political party. It's weird and in some ways seems well thought out. He even references MK Ultra and a lot of random talking points and theories that come up from both political parties every time there's a mass shooting. I know everyone is trying to label him either right or left, and in an odd way, I feel kind of as if That's what he wanted. In which the friend replied, I'm going to be so honest with you. The man was not that smart. He was most likely liking such posts as it was probably what the algorithm showed him. When I was friends with him, he was constantly numb to politics. With the Antifa post specifically, I think he posted these around the time of a rise in BLM support. Most likely he was mad about police brutality and posted that in support. The right-wing stuff, though, I'm not really sure about. But he was never homophobic, transphobic, or racist. In which I replied, I don't think all right-wing people are racist or phobic. But I think people are accusing him of being on the right because there's pictures of him at Trump rallies and wearing a Trump flag, although he had the American flag in a trash bag. So once again, I'm not sure if that's him showing support or mocking. To me, it kind of looks like trolling, like he's in a Where's Waldo costume and all. I mean, I don't know, neither do I, the friend says. I was trying to say that I don't think he had or held beliefs typical of a right-wing extremist. Maybe he was trolling, but honestly, he would wear weird-ass outfits all the time. If it was a troll, the comedy is lost on me. Then I thanked the guy, for talking with me and what have you, and the conversation ended. There are a few things that I want to touch on from this conversation. The friend believes that the guy didn't have any, political background. Now, the dude's dad ran for mayor. We do know that for a fact. The friend said that he had no political leaning, that he knew that around the time that this BLM support was going on, that Robert, felt some type of way, I guess, about police brutality. But he said that Robert really wasn't that smart and that all of this stuff was probably just the algorithm showing things so he liked it. I know that much is not correct. This guy who is Robert's friend, he hasn't talked to Robert in a couple of years. And people change really quickly sometimes, especially when you're young. So the Robert that this guy knew is probably different from the Robert that exists today. However, like he said, Robert didn't display any signs that he leaned one way or the other. Robert didn't show any signs of being violent or anything like that. And it's just weird how people have just out of nowhere turned into what Robert turned into. A complete monster that went on a rampage and took other people's lives. Now, he mentions that Robert isn't that smart and that he doesn't think Robert went that hard to leave behind all of this stuff, but Robert did. Robert has been hard at work for the last couple of years, leaving behind warnings and signs that he was going to carry out the attack that he carried out yesterday. He was also hard at work for years, leaving behind evidence that would link him to both political parties. Therefore, both political parties could use him in their talking points. Both political parties could use him as an example to dunk on the other political party, and his name would continue to ring bells as people tried to assume his motive and would use this evidence to link him to this person or to that person or to this political party or to that political party. And in my honest opinion, that's what Robert wanted. At the time of this recording, I'm not so sure what Robert thought of himself, who Robert voted for, and I'm not so sure that it matters. I think we as a country, we need to come together and realize when these situations happen, first, we need to be sympathetic to the people affected, take proper steps to making sure this doesn't happen as much or ever again. And we have to stop arguing with each other over who did this, who did this guy vote for. The people who lost their lives yesterday, I doubt they care that the bullet came from someone who voted for Biden or someone who voted for Trump. A bullet doesn't know any names. A bullet doesn't know any political parties. When you lose your life, it doesn't matter if you lose your life to someone who voted this way or voted that way. It's neither here nor there. However, Robert did want a conversation and an argument to be had surrounding his name and why he carried out this attack, and that's why Robert went so hard to leave behind everything that he did. There's other evidence that I've collected on Robert, some that I may present here, some that I may present on my other channel, and some that I may not present at all. Because the internet doesn't like the truth. The internet does not like, and the government does not like, when you get or try to get to the bottom of these things. What I will say is that whatever you assume about Robert Crimo is exactly what Robert Crimo wanted you to assume about him. Regardless if you assume he's a MAGA terrorist that fits everything that you're scared of about Donald Trump. Regardless if you think he's just this gender confused, leftist, blue-haired, hippie. Whatever you want to assume Robert is, that's exactly what Robert wanted you to assume he was. But with that being said, I want to know your thoughts about all of this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all on the next video. Please be safe out there.